Hey there, gamers. DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Xbox because they've now officially confirmed that every single game that has ever come to the console is now going to be ported to the PlayStation 5. The Xbox is dead, which means I was completely right about it. But of course, I'm not happy. But for the last couple of years, I've been talking about the fact that it's been painfully obvious to me, and I feel like it's been obvious to a lot of people, except for the Xbox fanboys, that Xbox is going third party. Microsoft Gaming does not really care about the division of the Xbox console. At this point, they're just trying to make their money back. When it comes to the strategy of Nintendo versus PlayStation versus Microsoft, Microsoft's always been in a very strange spot because they have trillions of dollars. When it comes to the Xbox brand, they're backed by Windows and Word and all sorts of other stuff. So, Microsoft doesn't care about selling the Xbox. They care about selling games and selling subscriptions to Game Pass and stuff like that. Whereas with Nintendo, they want you to buy a Switch. They want you to buy Pokemon and Zelda and Mario and stuff like that. With PlayStation, they want you to buy everything on their console, whether it is Hogwarts Legacy or even third-party stuff like Call of Duty or Final Fantasy. They want you to buy, of course, Horizon, the 18 Horizon games we're going to get and stuff like that. But I think it's weird to actually see a leaker specifically telling us now Xbox is just giving up. But let's talk about the leaks, let's talk about the statement, and let's talk about how people are not taking the news well. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So this just came out a bit ago, and here it is. Xbox will no longer have any permanent console exclusives going forward, according to Jez Corden. Now, Jez Corden is a very nice guy. I've actually had a chance to do some podcasts with the dude. He's extremely knowledgeable, and he knows a bunch of insider stuff about Xbox. But he did block me on a bunch of social media once I started talking about Xbox going third party. He had a bunch of big tweets saying, no, Xbox is going to win. Xbox has the best exclusives. Sony ponies are coping. They're never going to get Halo. They're never going to get Indiana Jones. And now he's had to backtrack. He has had to say, okay, I was completely wrong about all of that. My favorite team, Team Green, is just now a subdivision of PlayStation. But I've seen stuff like this. I feel like Xbox as a console is dead. There's no reason to buy it because there are no exclusive games. Can somebody tell me any reason to buy an Xbox over a PlayStation 5 that isn't just Game Pass? And a lot of the comments are pointing out the fact that, with Game Pass being on PC, there really isn't a specific reason to buy an Xbox Series X over a PlayStation 5 or a PS5 Pro or even a Nintendo Switch, or even spend that money on a great gaming PC. Like, I feel like a bunch of people have been moving towards PC gaming, and I feel like the only reason people would still buy an Xbox is stuff like this. All my friends play Xbox, so I decided to buy an Xbox. It's consumer friendly. They port their games to other systems, and that's fine. It's the end of an idiotic console war. Now, I wanted to take a look at the specific tweet from Jez Corden, which is this. So, the era of Xbox having permanent console exclusives is over. It's because they don't want to mandate it on teams that aren't set up for multi-platform simultaneous development. So he's essentially saying that they're having to make separate porting houses. PlayStation did this as well. They purchased a company called Nixus, which does incredibly good PC ports. And so that's why if you've played any of the PlayStation PC ports, they're surprisingly good. They've got good HDR, crazy frame rate, incredibly good optimization, and that's because they specifically set it up. Now, the rumor is that inside of Xbox, they've formed a team called Project Latitude. So it makes it so that they can focus on making Indiana Jones a great game or whatever like that, and then the Project Latitude team can polish it up and port it to PlayStation 5 Pro so it looks even better on PlayStation than it ever did on Xbox. But I did see a lot of people just kind of saying, man, it is wild to see Xbox officially over, to see them officially as a third-party developer. What's the point of owning an Xbox? Same for PlayStation, as soon as it'll no longer have a permanent console. I did see some people trying to do a pushback. There has been talks from a lot of Xbox fanboys saying, okay, if Sony puts games on Steam, then that means they're third party. Since Xbox puts games on PlayStation, that doesn't necessarily mean they're third party. It's definitely just silly word games. it's very obvious that PlayStation is still making exclusives. Nintendo is still doing exclusive. Even if some of that stuff does come to PC, at this point, it's very obvious only one of these people has basically become the next Sega. But I wanted to just talk about this as well, because it's funny that a bunch of Xbox podcasts lately have been kind of talking about this. This is Podcast Unlocked over on IGN. And this guy, Ryan McCaffrey, he drops some F-bombs and stuff, but he essentially says, I don't effing care anymore. Fine. I wanted Xbox to sell more systems. I wanted Xbox to become as big as PlayStation. A lot of people kept talking about the year of Xbox with all the acquisitions, all the big party deals, all the big announcements of, hey, here's a new Gears of War, here's a new Doom that looks fantastic, here's all the stuff we've been working on. A lot of people kept saying, now Xbox can finally keep up. And it turns out that was never the plan. The plan was always to give up, not to keep up. Now, this is something I found incredibly interesting. So this is over on the Game Leaks and Rumors subreddit. I absolutely love this Reddit because, yeah, a lot of the leaks are malarkey, but the comment section a lot of times picks apart the good leaks in really fun ways. But they talk about the fact that right now, it's crazy to think about how much has just changed this year. We started back in February when they first announced that Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves were coming to multiplat, and now everything is multiplat. There was so much drama over the Call of Duty buyout during the Activision Blizzard deal, and now it all seems inevitable. There was first talks when there was first those discussions about Microsoft buying Call of Duty. There were these legal fears. There was court cases and stuff specifically about the power of exclusivity. Of, okay, if you take the biggest game series of all time, Call of Duty, which has made tens of billions of dollars, and suddenly say, okay, this is only going to exist on Xbox, would that skew the market? Would that break things? Would that be unfair, right? And now it's funny to think about the fact that not only is Call of Duty on PlayStation, Halo is going to be on PlayStation, Forza is going to be on PlayStation, Gears of War is probably coming to PlayStation. So it's weird that in their effort to try and make Call of Duty only on Xbox, now every game's on PlayStation. Talk about a bad deal backfiring. What's funny is the fact that everybody is basically saying, like, imagine telling somebody back in December of 2023 that Xbox would transition to being a third-party publisher. I was talking about this a lot in 2023, and I had so many people trying to shout me down. I've been saying, hey, Xbox is bleeding money. Xbox is spending tens of billions of dollars on acquisitions that they're not going to make back. Like, in my mind, the math of Game Pass has gotten increasingly out of whack. The original idea of Game Pass, I think, was a fun idea. You know, the whole Netflix idea of, okay, if we make a show that costs $100 million, but we have 100 million subscribers, then we can make 10 of those shows and still stay profitable. And that was clearly the idea with Game Pass. Okay, we can make a game that costs $300 million, sell subscriptions for $20 a month, and if we even get a couple solid million subscribers, we can keep churning these out. But the Game Pass numbers never kept up. Game Pass has been stagnant, if not decreasing in popularity. So they're starting to go, okay, we have to sell these games. Games actually sell on PlayStation. PS5 gamers actually buy games for full price day one, which is the kind of money that Microsoft is craving with their big acquisitions. It's interesting to think that in 1 year from the deal being closed, Microsoft has shut down studios, consolidated like hell, and now they're just saying, screw it, just buy it, please. We don't care where, just buy it. But I want to talk about this. I solely blame the Activision Blizzard deal for this. They got investors to look at their books more and more, and they realized they could make more money having games everywhere. If Xbox stopped at Bethesda, I don't see the future we have now. I'll be honest, I completely agree with this. I've also talked about this as well. I think that the whole idea of Microsoft wanting to go third party, it's obvious that this was a desperate move. This was their talk about the fact that, okay, we have to put stuff on PlayStation. This isn't an option anymore. We are having to do this to recoup some of the cost at some point. I think they even announced during the Game Awards, which I've made a couple videos talking about, they showed the trailer for The Outer Worlds 2, which looked really good. And that's an Xbox Game Studios trailer. And in the reveal trailer, it says coming to PlayStation 5. I think that was them sort of just testing the waters to tell people, hey, if you are trying to only play stuff on Xbox, yeah, that ship has sailed. Now, I did see somebody talking about the fact that inside a lot of the legal documents that got leaked during the Activision Blizzard deal, the whole court case, some documents ended up being posted online. And one of the things they talk about is the fact that originally there were ideas right here. Yeah. Inside the emails between Phil Spencer and Jim Ryan leaked during the FTC, they were planning on making everything exclusive except for older Activision title. And then now that they've bought it, they were like, okay, we actually can't do that. The other note is they had plans to make every single Call of Duty multi-platform for 5 years. Then they extended it to 10 years. And now it's just making so much money on Sony. They're like, all right, screw it. It's just going to stay that. I still think that's all confirmation. They at least keeping the door open for COD to be exclusive eventually, if not outright planning it. They're obviously a pretty massive U-turn, not just for COD, but for their entire first-party lineup, which is for the best in my opinion. It is crazy that they went literally in 1 year, they went from let's make every single game exclusive, now they're going to let's make every single game third-party. I think it is a sign to how much Microsoft is stomping on the gas pedal. I've talked about this, other people have talked about this, but Microsoft and Xbox for a long time were very surprisingly separate pieces of the company, right? We had over here Xbox doing its thing for the last couple decades, making games, making a decent amount of cash, but not really being in the profit margins, right? Whereas over here, Microsoft is making trillions of dollars just selling you Windows, selling you Word, selling you Excel spreadsheets, right? And now for the first time, since they're making tens of billions of dollars of acquisitions, now Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, is starting to actually pay attention and say, what are you guys doing over there? Why are you spending so much of our profit on your projects that aren't profitable at all? So now we've got those pencil pushers saying, okay, what does it take to sell? And people have said, selling games means going PlayStation. And it's wild that it's here. So, yeah, I was right. I'm not gloating. I'm just saying I think everybody thought this was obvious. Everybody who tried to deny this, wake up and smell the flowers. The obvious has happened, obviously. But thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.